Hello, my friends. Today I want to talk about the difference between people who really make rapid changes in their life when they want to, and then there's those where it just is not happening. And of course, this group, it's easy to give up, right? When you don't see the results you are looking for. I mean, it could be both physical and mental, emotional creation. But I want to keep it more from the inner, from the I am presence creation, which is the portal where we, should we say, invite the unified field, or the field is what I talk about a lot. When we basically open up to let it come into this dimension as a physical manifestation, we can call it. Could be emotional, could be mental, but something is shifting and moves to a higher level of expression, if I can use that term. In oneness, higher, lower, that happens in duality, but this is where we live. So I I do use the words that we use here. How else can you make yourself heard, right? So there seem to be people, and right now I want to refer to people who go to events, which is about manifesting. And there are many events. This is an ongoing thing everywhere, and more people are teaching it because they're beginning to grasp how it actually works, and they might start seeing changes and evidence in their life from it. And so there are people who somehow seem to have either instant healings or instant money flows, instant amazing opportunities that are coming to them because somehow they grasp it. They take it on and they believe it. Big one, they believe it and they take it on and they commit to it because they feel something inside that says, I want to get there. I want to do this. And so, for those who have instant, let's say, healings or manifestations, they may be people who don't have the same depth of trauma, disbelief, these things that keep closing the door or the aperture for it to come in. So somehow they did not get that limited belief that I can't do it. And I shared not so long ago that that has been one of mine and that I'm really, really working on now. It was kind of this underlying, and I knew it was there, but I didn't know it in the way I do now, which really became very clear to me quite a while ago. And but for others, they may have, maybe they have grown up in different circumstances where they were encouraged, they were um, trusted, they were, yeah, encouraged to believe in themselves that they can basically do whatever they want. And that's a very different nervous system conditioning than if you were told you can't do it. And I can share it. That was very, very much my growing up. I remember even later in life when I had written and published my book, when I was doing all kind of things, my mom said to me one day, but we don't do that in our family. And she would always say, no, you can't do that. That's too hard, Pernilla. So there was a deep conditioning of that, what we do in our family. So when I started seeing that, I think specifically when she said, when I, brought my book and she gave it to her, she says, well, we don't do that in our family. Something in me clicked. I was like, oh, wow. it was like so clear what she had been programmed with and what she was unconsciously, very innocently programming me to believe. But I had it my whole life that, no, you can't do that. It's too hard. And I'm somebody who can do a lot, you know. I may be small, but I'm strong and I have, I have the willpower to do things. So it's kind of, I think, probably an inner battle, right? That I can't and I can. But for some reason, in a lot of the work that I had done, the you can't do that, Pernilla would win. And I really, really saw that not too long ago. And I think that is what the people that see in this group over here who do not get the results. That is an underlying frequency belief, probably a neurological wiring in the brain that has to be overcome. And we need to really see it first. I want to ask it this way. At what point do you stop believing that you're not creating your own reality? Not too long ago, I did a video. I think it's something like you create your own reality. You are the no, I am the creator of my own reality. I think I brought it back to the I am. You can go watch that here if you want. But at what point did I stop believing that I could create, manifest, heal, be successful, whatever that was that I was working on? At what point do I turn around, throw in the towel, give up, and go back to my old ways? As I'm sharing that, I know I am not the only one. This is a very, very common thing that we do. It doesn't mean we can't do anything, It's like it's kind of coming down through the layers of the false matrix programming, all the limitations, all the negativity, all the self-doubt, all the lack of confidence. There's so many layers. And I'm sure it all depends, of course, on our upbringing and our culture and all these things. But we still have to let them go. We still have to overcome them, not by force, but by, well, I would say by the gentleness of spirit, by the gentleness of the I am presence that we are. And the battle is to stay here and not be pulled out into the old ways, the limiting ways, the old paradigm. So you can ask yourself that question for a moment. If you think of something that you have been trying to manifest, achieve, create, become, and you put all the work into it, you probably have done workshops, meditation retreats, bigger events with Tony Robbins or Dr. Joe Dispenza, or it's endless. The law of attraction. There's so much. There's such a wealth of help for us. And yet, somehow we don't make it all the way. And I'm sure you have been thinking about that yourself and maybe wondering, but today I really want you to focus on the question. Here you are going along, you're doing the work, you're seeing a little improvement here, you're not seeing much over there, but you keep doing it. And then at a certain point, you stop believing. You stop believing in yourself. You stop believing you can do it. You stop believing that you are the creator of your own reality. You simply stop, throw in the towel, and you turn around and go back to your old ways. which didn't work, right? They may have worked a little bit, but they didn't work in the way you wanted them to work, in the way that you got the results that you were longing for. So, what is it in you? Friends, if you can find that specific one that is current in your life now, because you'll probably find a lot more. But if you can find the one that is standing at the door and closing it, not allowed, what is that for you? I think this is a really important question. And when you see it, there will be a lot of clarity. There will be a lot of understanding why things have not worked for you, why you gave up. Because you believed this one thing that made you stop everything on you that you were really moving towards. What is that one thing? There might be more, but let's just look for the biggest one right now. I would bet you a big one for many of us, if not most, is like, it's not working. I tried, but it's not working. There's no results, nothing is happening. So it's not working. Well, we could say it's not working for me, because you might know a lot of people out there where it's really working for, and to the point where you go, my God, what am I doing wrong? What do they have that I don't have? But let's make that sentence like, it's not working for me. Then at least you are a step closer to finding out what it is about me that makes it not work. So then you can just look at, like, for instance, the day that you stopped the work, the day that you fell for an old temptation again, the moment you were down on yourself, the moment where it felt too hard and it just felt like you don't have what it takes to make that shift. I really want to invite you to spend some time after this video. You might already have started here. What is it? At what point do you throw in the towel? And what happened at that point? This is where change can start happening. And I'm again speaking from my own experience. The video I just pointed to here, that's you can click on. I had done so much of, like, that was Dr. Joe's work. And I would get up 4 in the morning every day and do like 3 hours of meditation. And I really wanted to heal something going on in my body. Nothing, nada, crickets. And then at some point, it's like, F this, it's not working for me. So I went back to, other means, trying this and that, all things out in the world. Didn't work. And then recently I really got kind of a second wind, I just realized I really got that I was carrying my past with me into the so-called future, into the present moment, by letting it regurgitate in my system, in my mind. And I had been feeding it, and that's why I took it with me every day, every morning, yeah, thinking about it, worrying about it, trying something. And then when I saw it, it was like, wow, that's what's been blocking me. We all have them. We all have our unique flavor of how we stop ourselves from keep doing the work to be free, whether it's meditation, coaching, um, introspection, all of that. I think we need it all. But when I saw that one, there was just this one, it's not going to happen to you. No matter what you do, it's not going to happen. And because I had done so much, and you can probably relate to this, I think it's a very natural conclusion, right? Or, yeah, to make like, oh, well, it's not working for me. I tried it. But how shall I say that? We cannot just stop there. The bottom line is that I am the creator of my own reality. So if I keep creating a reality that is limited, that's not working, I am creating that. Not as a pointing fingers, blaming, shaming, judging. No, that will just add to the closed portal here. But with a curiosity, it's like, wow, if I am if I'm bringing that into my life, if that is a mirror of what slides I have put in front of my I am light, what is that? What is the image I put there all the time? What is the image or the words that I keep repeating consciously or somewhere in the unconscious? A lot of it is unconscious. Nobody is to blame. The people who are maybe very successful and really out there, they have these things too. They're also working on it. Some probably need it more than others. But there have been many teachers who have had to go through some very, very challenging times because they had some beliefs that were um, grounded in duality and they didn't know it. No blame. I really want to make sure this is something we all go through and we have to meet them layer after layer. So the question again, at what point do you stop believing that you are the creator of your own life, of your expression? But there's the other one too. Because when you do the work, you might start seeing little things happening, which we all do also. But we may not quite give it the attention or the acknowledgement that this is happening. So the other question is, at what point do you start believing that you are the creator of your own experience? So the first one, it's kind of a downhill, right? It's not working. But then if you keep doing the work, even though you feel this, we can start looking for signs, little signs sometimes, like, oh, things to keep us going. And then suddenly you go, oh, like at what point do you start believing that you are the creator of your own reality? Oh, this little sprout came out. This little thing came to me. This event is proof or evidence. So there's little ones. And then that is going to eventually take over because now you are feeding this instead. And because you feed this one, which is on the up and up, this one doesn't get the nourishment. The one that says, oh, for me, like, oh, it's never going to happen to you. I don't want to feed that anymore. And I have stopped. And as I have stopped that, I am aware how many limitations and limiting beliefs are attached to that. So it's almost like you pull out a thread and then there's all these other roots that are there. But right now I'm very much in the process of just pulling them out by not feeding them. Actually, they're starving. They haven't stopped trying, but I have stopped engaging in a way I have not done before at a much deeper level. And this is what I really see for all of us, right? It's an ongoing, deepening, purifying, letting go of, seeing through, healing. And then there is more, we're more available to be a conscious creator of our own reality. It doesn't happen overnight. And those people who really break through at some point, sometimes I've listened to testimonials and from Dr. Joe's work, right? If you ever want to do that, that is very, very, very inspiring to hear people who've gone through so many challenges. And sometimes it gets worse for a while, but they keep doing the work. And then suddenly one day, something starts shifting. And that's when you go, yeah, I'm glad I never stopped trusting. I kept following through. So there was something strong inside that made that decision, that set an intent in motion. Like, I am going to create, beat, experience, whatever, this. And they would stick to it. It's very, very powerful when you have that experience. I've had it many times, and it usually, when you move into a bump up against the next layer, it's like you kind of have to build it back up. It's like, no, my intention is to move through this limitation also. So it's layer after layer and after layer. And in the process, you will experience yourself becoming more and more free, more and more sovereign, more and more empowered. And the more we feel that, then we have a lot more fuel for the next bump that we might run into until we have no more bumps. Who knows? I don't know the future. I just know that this is very, very empowering and inspiring. And if you can find that, the answer to that question, at what point do you stop believing that you are the creator of your life? That's where the work begins for the next layer or the next level. And if you need help with that, you are welcome to reach out to me, set up a self-discovery session, and then we can work through that together. It is easier when you do it with somebody, for the most of us, because we can't see our blind spots, right? I can help you see them, and I can help you be present with them in a way so there's no blaming or shaming or that you're doing anything wrong, or you can just really meet it with an open heart and curiosity, and then it can start softening so you open up to more of who you are. Please share if you feel moved to in the comments. Maybe how you answer that question for yourself. It would be great to have a little, communication going here. And I'll see you next time. Have a beautiful day, my friends.